Okay, let's take a look at in this lesson how to convert, or well, first of all, what proportions are and how to solve a proportion. And then we'll look at how to use proportions to convert convert units to different units, okay? First of all, a proportion. Proportions are equal fractions. 4/5 is equal to 8/10. And a proportion, you could show that it's equal because the cross products are equal. In other words, if this is called cross multiplying, and if those two numbers are equal, then you know you have a true proportion. Well, so to find a true proportion, if you don't know what one of the numbers is, then you can cross multiply and solve it. If you have 7/8 as a fraction, and you want to know what 15 over n would give you for a true proportion, you can do 8 times 15, which is 120, and 7 times n, which is 7n, and you set those two numbers equal to each other, and then divide to solve for n. Cross off the 7's, divide 20 divided by 7, and you know n is about 17.4. Okay? Now, one of the questions in your assignment is about how do you know which type of conversion to use. This covers example 3. Okay? So, take a look at number 9 in your book. It says, how would you convert quarts to gallons? What would you use to convert quarts to gallons? Okay? Well, if you have quarts, what you want to do is multiply in order to get to gallons, right? And if you multiply by a number, actually a fraction in this case, if you multiply by a fraction that is equal to the same amount, then you know that you have got the right conversion. Okay? So, do you know how many quarts are in a gallon? 4, exactly. 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. So if you have quarts and you want to convert it to gallons, you need to write a proportion or a conversion factor that will give you that. So let's say you have 8 quarts. How many gallons would that be? 2, right. Because 8 times 1/4 is 2. Or, when you're multiplying it, you can reduce 8 and 4 to 2 and 1. And 2 times 1 is 2. So that's 2 gallons. Okay? So, you want to multiply by a ratio. This is a ratio because these are different labels. You want to multiply by a ratio to get from what you have to what you want. You have quarts and you want it in gallons. Okay? Now, let's say you have one like 8 hours and you need it in minutes. Well, you want to multiply by a ratio of minutes to hours. How many minutes are in an hour? 60. So you multiply by 60 over 1. Okay? What if you have one like number 16 in your book? This one is a proportion and it just asks you to solve it. 5/6 equals C over 9. They're looking for a true proportion. So we use the cross products. 6 times c is 6c. Bring down the equal sign. 5 times 9 is 45. Okay? Then we can solve this for c. And c is about 7.5. Okay? So what we're using is the concept of ratios. Remember, ratios have different labels. If we have one thing and we want to convert it to another thing, we multiply it by we multiply it by a ratio of equal amounts, but with different labels. Okay? And then solve proportions by cross-multiplying and then dividing to solve for the variable. All right, here we go.